Yeah, and I think one of the issues is, and I think what you say about LEAP and what you say about this moms group that I belong to, is that if you look at the moms group, they look like a bunch of soccer moms, okay? Yeah. If you look at LEAP, I don't smoke pot. And if it was legal this moment, I wouldn't smoke it. But, if I get cancer, I want to have an alternative homeopathic medicine that I know works. I have friends of mine who literally have dealt with their cancers through cannabis, and it has helped them tremendously.
I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah, these are firefighters. These are, these are I know some retired police officers that are patients. I mean, we can go through this whole process, and people are starting to realize it is legitimate. And so why does the government continue to fight it? This is no different than going to a Chinese herbalist or an acupuncturist to use something outside of mainstream medicine. I was at my doctor's yesterday, and we were having this conversation. And because I just had a surgical procedure a couple weeks ago, and we had this whole discussion about the efficacy of marijuana. And she said, oh, absolutely. And what was interesting is what she said, and because we were talking about the legalization movement, some other legislation that's going on in California, is she said, you know what, I would rather have my kids smoke pot than alcohol. Yeah. And, so there's this recognition for people who have done the research.
Right, and that coming from a doctor speaks volumes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And she's a very conservative doctor. I mean, and her child is in law school, and said he got through undergrad by probably smoking a lot. 4.0 student got accepted to law school. And so we have to start, there's this stigma about being a marijuana user. There's this, and again, like everything else in our society, is we demonize people. The argument that I hear from the anti-prohibitionists about it's evil and, all our kids are going to, turn into these lazy, human beings and never participate. Just because one person that is a slug, he or she was probably a slug
with or without.
And would have been that way no matter what.
That's right. Yeah, I have to agree with you. And again, we have to go back to the fact that people who have done all the right things and are in a very comfortable position right now do not want to jeopardize it by coming forward.
Yes.
See, social stigma.
Yeah, there's a huge social stigma, and it would be a wonderful thing. I've always imagined a commercial. And I'm sure you've seen it. It's that Marine Corps commercial that all the Marines are dressed in their dress blues, and across the United States they're participating in, their rifle drill. And if we could get every marijuana user to publicly come out and do some type of commercial where you saw it all over the place, it would really shock people.
Yeah, that's why I started the whole Professionals Against Prohibition, was to really start that networking movement of mainstream professionals to speak out on it. Yeah, and just share their opinion, if nothing else. They don't have to come forward with personal stories. It's just an opinion.
Yeah, and I think you're starting to see that. I think you're starting to see the polling is like everything else in politics, Jen. Is the public is always ahead of the politicians, and we continue to be ahead of the politicians at this point. So what will happen is we have to force our politicians. And see, deviance, like anything else, it's a label. Deviance can be good. Deviance can be used in as it's called in social conflict theory, a regulated form of conflict in order to enact change at the grassroots level. So what folks consider what I'm doing as deviance, absolutely right. I am deviating from the norm. if deviance is not bad, and I think that's the other thing about labeling, we have to start taking a look at the words matter. It's okay for us as a society to be deviant by demanding and asking for change that we know is wrong.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you. And again, I have to go back to the whole civil rights issue. I personally do not believe that government should be policing its people in the respect that they are governing what people are putting in their bodies.
Completely.
That to me, is just stepping over the line. You know, I can understand the need for government and regulation and a lot of other aspects, but when it comes to really telling a population what they're able to ingest, inhale, eat, it's just that to me is very unconstitutional and a little scary, to be quite honest.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I would completely agree. Is that it's that whole big government versus small government. And so, that's always one of the takes that I try to do when I speak at very conservative groups. Here you are, you're small government advocates, but the one place that you want to be is in people's bedrooms and in people's personal lives. Get out of it. It's not your business, unless it's impacting you.
I agree.
And yet, the Democrats, who want to always be in big government everywhere, don't want to be in your bedroom, but they're willing because they want the public safety. They're afraid of lawlessness. So they continue in expanding the role of government in what is truly a public health issue, a public health model.
Yes. Yeah, I have always seen it as that. Yes. Well, wonderful. Well, Diane, we're coming up. In fact, we've gone a little bit over, but it's been very enjoyable.
Not a problem.
I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Anytime.
Yeah, I would love to have you back, too. When you have some new developments happening, by all means, keep us informed.
Not a problem.
And if we always do call-outs for volunteers. So
that's fabulous. And then, what is, I'm going to do a shout-out to Moms United. For all your listeners, you can find them on the web by Googling Moms United to End the War on Drugs. It's one of the things I would strongly suggest that you bring Gretchen Bergman on board, and you can see it from a whole other side.
I'm very much looking forward to having Gretchen on, yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Jen, and we'll talk soon.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today, and I appreciate you giving out the website information. Would you like to leave our listeners with, I guess, some parting thoughts and of course, any advice that you have for people to get involved, even if it is, just a very small effort, something someone can do in 5 minutes if they don't have the time to really take on an active role in an organization?
Any amount of money is beneficial to law enforcement against prohibition. And I think we are the group that is going to help pull together not just the reform movement, but our society to show the truth. So engage, force your politicians to engage into commitments to the truth. Don't buy into just what the rhetoric is out there. You have to educate yourself. And if all you have is 5 minutes, is go to www.leap.cc. You can become an associate member. You can make a donation. We will take that money. Other than the initial staff, everybody else is a volunteer. We go out and we speak because we're passionate about change in our society.
I love it. Thank you so much for your time today, Diane. And we will certainly be keeping up with you and Moms United.